when you look at society now, it's still in lieu of the table. Everybody is looking at everything but the table.
It's so easy to look at other people and what they're doing, what they're not doing. You have to define the table for yourself.
Yes.
The table could be a really good storytelling place if we own building the table, not just visiting tables that we don't own and then complain about who's going to pay the bill.
Modern dating is complicated, but honest conversations shouldn't be. Welcome to Beyond the Profile. Swipe less, connect more. Hi, I'm Tonya Buford with Beyond the Profile, Swipe Less, Connect More. This episode is part of our playlist series, Understanding Men, the things women need to know but are seldom explained. In episode 4, we tackle one of the most talked about questions in modern dating. What do women bring to the table? Beyond attraction or career success, what do men say actually matters when choosing a long-term partner? Let's get into this conversation. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing and turning on your notifications so you won't miss any future episodes. And make sure you stay to the end for my recap of the episode. I'm Tonya Buford with Beyond the Profile, Swipe Less, Connect More. Now let's get into it. Hi, I'm Tonya Buford with Beyond the Profile, Swipe Less, Connect More. So today we're going to talk about what does a woman bring to the table? We hear that all the time and we're going to talk about it. So make sure you stay tuned though to the end where I'm going to unpack what stood out to most in this sequence, in this episode. And guess what? This is the last part of the 4-part series. So yay. So we're going to talk about it. And I have my panel, my lovely, beautiful panel here, who are going to help us run through what is the table? I think I need clarity. What is the table? And then we're going to talk about it. All right, panelists, what's up? How y'all doing?
Awesome. How you doing?
Okay. You got me with the mic. Okay. I was trying to get you to come on with the crew here. So I just say who you are, a little bit about yourself, and then we'll keep it going.
No, absolutely. And thank you again for having me on this podcast.
Oh, you're
That's
welcome.
a pleasure to be back in the space.
Thank you.
My name is Borel. As mentioned last time I was here, a blog writer focusing on self-improvement, sharing my personal experiences through medium.com and hope that it can inspire somebody through my stories. That's a bit about me.
Oh, that's great. Well, a pleasure. Welcome back. Welcome back to Mr. JayRick. Hey, how are you, sir?
Man, I'm cooling.
Well, tell them a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I'm proud to be here. It's a happy Black History Month. I'm a relationship coach in the district. I founded Jazz Mondays, and I created a space where young professionals could come together and really, talk about some of the inner things that I think is most important in relationship building, and that's building a robust social life, especially with relationships that will inform your decisions on your career, business, and most importantly, your romance. So I'm here to kind of close the gender divide that's happening, unfortunately, in our society, and I'm proud to be here.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Miss Carla,
Hello.
welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you.
So a bit about me. I am actually an independent consultant. I do organizational development. So I focus on centering community in workplaces through equitable workplace policies, process, and systems.
Nice.
I also do some photography, storytelling,
Nice.
photojournalism, and I center civic engagement, getting our folks out to be active in our communities.
Ooh.
And so with that, community comes relationships. I'm really happy to be here to discuss with you today.
Thank you. That's so awesome. And Miss Shelly, my girl, how you doing?
Hello, Miss Sonia. Thank you so much for having me
Oh,
back. It has been an absolute honor and a pleasure. My name is Shelly Smith, and I am the honored host and podcast host of my own podcast, A Sit Down with Shelly, where we make it make sense. I am a retired government worker of 18 plus years through DC government. I am a certified peer specialist / outreach coordinator, and I am a proud wife, mother of 5, Yaya of 3, and another mother of 2 4-legged animals.
Oh.
And my podcast is just surrounded with or by real people, real life with real situations. And what we do is just create a safe space, a no judgment zone for people to be able to tell their story uninterrupted. And it's their truth, no matter who agree with it or not. We cannot dictate what someone's truth is. So my platform is just to, be able to give people a safe space. And I am an avid community service person.
That's awesome.
I feed the homeless. I feed people that's underprivileged. So that's what I do. I'm a servitude person.
We love it.
Thank
we love
you.
that. That's so beautiful. So now that we have introduced our panel, we're going to get into some questions, but I think I alluded to it when I was doing the introduction. What is the table? I mean, are we misusing the table? And so I want to get your insight on what you think the table is, and maybe even your own, thought process as, is it really a table? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'll go with you, Miss Shelley.
Okay.
What you got, girl?
I'll start with this. I am the table.
Okay.
And I'm the table because the man, the provider, the protector, when he has to go out and make that income and he makes that living, if he gets those groceries, who's going to prepare those groceries?
Yeah.
Who's going to set the table? Who's going to set the tone for the table? I am the table.
Okay.
So when you come home, I have to provide you with a safe space to want to be able to sit at the table. So you could have multiple tables. You could have an end table. You could have a dining table. You could have not a table. But I'm the table because I'm going to make your table a home.
That's beautiful. JayRick, what you got? I'm interested to hear what the table is.
I was quick to counter with what she said. That was actually on point. And I say that just because I think in the space I deal with, my clients are like 18 to 29. And so the idea of, or even like a little older than that, because it's happening now is like rhetoric, like I am the table.
Yeah.
Is unfortunately not being supported with, what you're talking about in terms of a really healthy exchange.
Yeah.
And so the table has been like legs are rotted and it needs oil. And so, and I'm a big believer in, I think, thinking about redesigning the idea of the table. So what does that mean? First date, instead of rubber chicken over, a table that we don't own, find creative ways to get in a table that, maybe under the house or maybe under a kitchen where you both are preparing a meal together, you're eating together. We know that in our community, Sunday dinner isn't what it used to be, but there's creative ways to bring this in modern dating where now you're realizing, we're building something and we're sitting at this table, not just once, but multiple times. Next thing you know, girlfriend, wife, boyfriend, husband. So the table could be a really good storytelling place if we own building the table, not just visiting tables that we don't own and then complain about who's going to pay the bill.
Come on.
Wow. That's great.
That's it right there.
Okay, what you got? What you got? I know you got something.
And my perspective of what the table is, it's more so the system. And I say the system because when it comes to that relationship amongst two people, there are a lot of differences that are involved, preferences as well. So having a system that is functioning within, while accounting for these differences and preferences, if I like a certain thing, but my partner doesn't like a certain thing, within our system, can we, curate it to enable us to succeed in our relationship? So that is my idea of what the table is. It's a systemic foundation, to support our differences and our likeness, to ensure that we can really build this relationship and, give the generations to come from the relationship a standard, when they're ready to transcend into their own systems or relationships. Yes.
That's interesting. Miss Carla, what you got?
Yeah, no, I really agree with what you said, because I was going to say, to me, I see the table as the foundation.
Mm-hmm.
And so if someone is interacting with me, if they're dating me, if they're experiencing me, I'm bringing my essence to that partnership, to that relationship, and that's part of the foundation. And so I see, it's community. It's like, how do I show up to you in partnership? What is the information and the knowledge that I have to support your dreams, your ambitions, the type of conversations we're having? So I do think there is a table. And to me, like I said, it's the foundation. But sometimes it can be a bit superficial, because I'm seeing conversations about, a man shouldn't ask a woman what she brings to the table. I think a man deserves to also ask what's being brought to the table, because it is a reciprocal relationship. How are we supporting each other, and how are we building that foundation?
Absolutely.
I like that. And you guys are so eloquent in the way you describe the table. From what I hear, from what I hear in other spaces, it's a negative undertone. Almost like it's a battle now, because he didn't ask you what you bring to the table. And I guess I want to clarify. The reason why I wanted you to define the table is because it's is it misuse of words?
Yes.
Right? Because I think a lot of times it's always that competition, us versus them. And so I hear a lot about, what she bring to the table, and it's like, well, what is the table? Right? And so is that the wrong choice of words? Because we talked earlier on our previous episode about, should men pay for everything? So does what do you bring to the table stem from the expectation of taking care of all of your needs, both financially, both emotionally, and so forth? And so is it really the table that they're asking, or is it, I'm going to do this, transactional?
Yep.
I expect this. So is table the correct verbiage?
You could still use table.
Okay.
And in lieu of previously, like you said, should a man pay for everything? No. Why? Is that the perception of, and I believe when you just look back on, and I always go back to our history, because things is developed from that, the way we were growing up kind of shapes and form our adulthood, in some essence. And so when you, in modern day, when you hear people say, what you bring to the table, 9 times out of 10, it's a surface level question.
Okay.
Right? And what I mean by surface level, it's what kind of money are you bringing? What kind of job you have? What kind of credit do you have? Do I gotta pay for everything? I'm the one. And my mindset is, okay, so if he pays for the dinner, okay, I'm a tip.
Right.
And it doesn't always have to be the provider, the man, doing everything. Why can't the woman participate in that? It's reciprocal, right? So I don't want to be with someone or in something where, first of all, it's not in my DNA for you to do everything for me. I just wasn't. That's not my ministry. But when you look at the table, everyone hit on, it's the foundation. He hit on your legs wobbly. Your legs wobbly because you wobbly. If your table, if you're not solid in self, if you don't pack that table up and take it somewhere, because if you bring that table to me, once I sit up under it may fall. So if I'm bringing my essence to lay out a platter on that table, how strong is that table going to hold what I'm bringing?
Good point.
So you got to be in a sense, you have to be your own table first. You can't sit at someone else's.
Do we know?
I just think it's this new millennial thing.
Oh.
I'm sorry, I'm 50, so we wasn't thinking about what you bring to the table. It was how you treated me. If you treated me with dignity and respect and you saw my inner character and not my representative character, right?
Okay.
And so when you look at it from that depth, when you look at it from that perspective, it's just, are you solid enough to hold your own table? Because if your table is wobbly, when I come to that, or if I'm inviting you into mine, I don't want you coming in on no shaky table. You know how they say she shook the table? I don't want my table to shake. Because then all of my meals, all of my presence, all of my essence, it's unstable. It's on shaky grounds.
Yes. Do you think that that's... I'm sorry, I was asking.
Yeah, I was just going to add to that. I think I don't have an issue with the terminology using the word table, but be prepared to be asked the same question. Right?
Okay.
And so if you ask me what I'm bringing to the table, I'm also asking you what you're bringing to the table.
Okay.
And I think that's part of the dating process. It's like I get to see who you are, what you bring to the table. I get to experience you. And so I don't have an issue with the terminology. I'm not sure where it came from, but sometimes we hear things and we just run with it.
Yeah.
So everyone's like, what you bring to the table? I'm not afraid to ask you the same question.
Yeah.
What about you?
Now, I think Miss Shelley brought up a very good point, which is before you ask, what do you bring to the table? Be your own table, right? And it's very important because if you know yourself or curated yourself, it makes it a lot easier for you to show up in some of these spaces as your authentic self, and maybe that might even take away from what do you bring to the table because you've already shown that.
Right.
And an early onset, right? And I think a lot of times that question comes about when things are not clear. And, we're looking at it and we're like, okay, we've been together for XYZ amount of times. I see it going this way, but there's still some doubts in that space, because I am not seeing this.
Okay.
Then you start to ask, what do you bring to the table? So I don't have to start thinking about it. Either tell me and show me.
Okay.
So I think that's how it starts. But as Ms. Shelley said, be your own table. So when you are your own table, it's a lot easier for me to not understand what you are coming with.
Okay. All right. JayRick, did you have a point on that or?
It's going so many different ways.
It is.
I love it though. The energy is good. I'm proud to have two parents, that I grew up in, and being able to see what do the people do at a table. I mean, that bearing witness to, my father having a specific designated place at the table. He sat, he led the prayer. And then how my mother, and mind you, this table we had was a table my father brought back from Japan. And I remember me and my sister, every Saturday we had oil furniture. And what was unique about the furniture my father brought from Japan was, we're talking about high quality wood. And so you have to preserve and take care of that table. And I would like to think about modern couples, modern folks trying to get in process, trying to find a relationship. You ask the question, how do you want to show up and clean this table? Right? Because now we got to think about the quality of the table. Is it worth just throwing away, or are we going to upgrade it like every week?
Yeah.
Or can it be something that can last a long time?
That's
and
good analogy. I like that.
I think being able to also invest in, seeing how you invest in everything in your life, and I think the table for me was just, I can hear my dad saying now, like, boy, get them the elbows off the table. There's a lot of symbolism and structure that helps you to understand, your role at the table, even as a child.
I'm learning something here because, like I mentioned earlier, the negative undertone of what do you bring to the table? But I think what I'm getting is a lot of people are dating right?
Mhm.
And they, like you say, see a lack or something of substance or characteristic that they are not seeing in this person. And then that question is, well, what do you bring to the table? And you hear a lot of women say, oh, I'm the table and I'm this and I'm that and I do this, I cook, I clean and whatever, right? And I think the men are like, no, that and I think that's kind of the analogy you're describing right now, is that, is there a foundation? Is there even a table to even get started? Right? And then once you get started, how are you going to care for this table? How are you going to show up for the table? Who are you? And what are your values? And I think now that you guys have explained it, it's like mind-boggling, because I'm like, oh, okay, now I understand. Because I saw it as a red flag.
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw it as a red flag. Like, you wanted me to prove my worth to you by asking me, what do I bring to the table?
Right.
And I'm looking at you like, bro, like you said, I'm the table. I'm the table, I'm the living room, the dining room, I'm all of it, right? And how dare you ask me that question? So I think social media, the thought process, the wording, the things behind the wording tend to generate these negative undertones. And then you're not seeing a real picture. So you guys clearly just explained what the table is. You explained what it represents, the symbolism that it represents, and that you value being a table before you get to someone else and build.
Absolutely.
Boom. I think we just solved it. But I'm loving this. Cause I mean, I had a whole lot of questions about it, your perspective, what you guys provided. We had this whole thing about, high value women, high value men, who does the cooking, who does the cleaning. I think that's a power struggle with, modern. Right. So now we got it muddy. It's all muddy, right? Yeah. So what do we do, or how do we, I mean, you guys did a very good job at articulating that, but what do we do with that? Like, how do we help, by this podcast, helping people clearly understand when you say what do you bring to the table, what does that look like?
I would say, look at your own table.
Okay.
I have a saying that I say all the time, when you, and this is not the table, it's your fingers right now. When you point one finger at someone, you have three more pointed back at you, which means you have more work to do for you. So if your table is wobbly, right, let's keep in lieu of the table.
Right.
So, after a while, you mentioned that good quality, right? If you're coming and you're not of good quality, that table, you're going to need some WD-40. You're going to need a screwdriver. Now your screws in that table, they got a loose. Now you got to go get another screw to try to rethread it so it could be a little bit more stronger. But when you look at society now, still in lieu of the table, everybody is looking at everything but the table. Everybody is looking at everything outside of the table. And it's like,
we're missing it.
I just want to sit here and eat a piece of chicken with you. But you come and your table is just a rocking. And then, as your table rock, now you want to throw the table away. Okay, just go get that little screwdriver, tighten up that screw. Because if your table is wobbly, who's making it wobbly? What's making it wobbly?
Right.
And so if you just want to sit at a wobbly table, you're gonna be at that wobbly table. And every time you put something on that table, it's gonna fall off.
Right. So don't be upset that the table you chose wasn't a table that can support you.
Right there. Because sometimes we will make excuses for the table we sitting at.
Wow.
Yeah.
We look past where we sitting at.
What y'all think?
Well, I want to add, I think it's so easy to look at other people and what they're doing, what they're not doing. You have to define the table for yourself.
Yes.
What does it look like for you in your relationship, in your partnership? for me, I love that you mentioned growing up with, in a 2-parent household, because I did as well.
Yeah.
And I didn't see traditional gender norms.
Mhm.
Like, my father cooked.
Amen.
My mom was a primary caregiver for her parents, and he showed up for my mom. He showed up for us.
Right.
But that also switched as dynamics changed.
Of course.
So that table looked very different.
Yeah.
But if you talk to your friends or you talk to someone else, they might say, oh, you don't cook? Or your husband is cooking for you? I think that's a personal decision. And we have to remember to define our own tables.
Yeah.
And go from there.
That's
and
right.
recognize that the dynamics always change.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
And it's okay. What do you got? Borel, you got something good?
Yeah.
I know you do. So smart.
And I appreciate what Ms. Carla brought up, right? And which is the different dynamics across relationships are not going to be the same. Some relationship, the gender norms might be a bit different than others.
Right.
But it also comes down to, right, that what works in that relationship, so that system, right? There are men who are more comfortable with being in the kitchen
Then,
than women.
Mm-hmm.
And those people, when they got together, they had those conversations.
Right.
And they figured out that, I'm a man, but, I enjoy spending time in the kitchen. I can take for myself, for example, growing up in a 2-parent household, I was always inclined to help my mother on my weekends in the kitchen. So I spent a good amount of years working next to my mom in the kitchen. Right. While that is equally valuable, and it's given me a perspective of, though I'm a man, I am not necessarily chained to the traditional idea of man.
Yes.
Right. So I have the flexibility to where I can, step in the kitchen when I feel like it.
Yeah.
And, play the role of the traditional man. But either or, I am not locked into just a
woman
set.
cook and clean, and I watch the game and be served, that kind of thing.
And one thing I also want to make clear is, in me knowing that, I still understand my responsibility as a man.
Right.
I have my innate God-given responsibility. So do women. Right. So it's very important to understand that while our dynamics are different, can we accept these God-given or these, innate responsibilities? Right. And if, for example, as a woman, you may have not grown up with a mother or a family member who, taught you how to cook, but you're willing to learn. Then now we can open a conversation on how can we navigate that, right?
Okay.
Where you don't have that quality to be in the kitchen,
Right.
but you have an openness to learn.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I,
That's
as a
good.
man, if I have the quality to be in the kitchen, maybe I can be the cook,
Right.
and teach you.
Right.
And as you get better, then we make a transition to where now you're the person that's cooking well.
Yeah.
While I'm in the background, and I'm filling in another role.
Right.
So just
That's
to say,
good.
the dynamics, it definitely works case by case.
Right.
So it shouldn't be something that's thrown, one solution fits all.
Yeah, I would say once you in that a one size fit all situation.
Exactly.
Right. For sure.
It changes.
Yeah, it does, and it changes with time. I don't have the same table that I had back at 19.
Of course.
I'm 50 now, so my table looks a little different. My table's a little bit more sturdier now, right?
Right.
And it's because of the curating. When even though I was raised in a 2-parent household, it wasn't always a functional 2-parent household. So I knew what I wanted. I knew how I wanted my table to look differently than the table I grew up at, right? So I want to make sure that my table is a strong foundation, because I know we're bringing children into this world.
Right.
So I need their table to be. I don't need my daughters. I'm going to use my daughters now because I have 4 of them. So I don't want my daughters to be in a complacent manner where I'm just going to sit at the table. No. We're not just sitting at the table.
I think that's what's going on. I think that's why men are asking the question, because there are people who have access to your table that do not value your table.
Absolutely.
And so now, is it a choice of the person you're allowing to sit at your table.
Absolutely.
Right? Because you're screaming from the rooftop, what do you bring to the table? Well, maybe you need to, like you say, them 3 fingers looking back.
Right.
Why are you choosing such people to sit at your table?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because it could flip.
Good.
It could flip on you at any given moment,
good.
you know, because again, you have to be sound. Like, I'm doing this self-work. I'm in my healing journey.
Yeah.
And I never knew what healing looked like before.
Right.
So if I'm bringing discord, or if I'm bringing my own mess to the table, and my partner has his own mess, what are we doing at the table?
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
For sure. Well, oh my goodness.
It's okay.
Another good episode. I'm so excited.
phenomenal.
You guys are so awesome. I have to say I'm in awe. Thank you so much for being here, for, giving your expertise. Like I said before, I learned a lot.
Yeah.
I hope by you watching this episode, you've learned a lot. And listen, follow us, subscribe, and then also, if you have some feedback, you have a comment, you want to see us talk about something different, or whatever, give us your opinion. We can do it. We can take it. Just bring it on. So thank you guys. This is Tonya Buford with Beyond the Profile. Swipe less, connect more. See you on the next episode. Hi, I'm Tonya Buford with Beyond the Profile. Swipe less, connect more. I would like to recap episode 4 of our 4-part series, Understanding Men, What Things Women Need to Know But Not Seldom Explained. In this episode, we talked about what is the table. And we came away with things that I didn't even think was going to happen. That the table is yourself, and what you value, who you are, and what you put into yourself. And then you go out and you meet someone and you present that table to the person. So when someone says, what do you bring? Naturally, you go into a negative tone because you know what your worth is, you know what your values are. But really, in reality, when they ask that question, it's because there is something that you're not capable of bringing to their table. And so thus, that is an opportunity to understand that maybe you guys need to move and go your own separate ways. Not that it's a bad thing, but you have to go with the person that wants you and that you want. So this is Tonya Buford with Beyond the Profile. Swipe less, connect more. Make sure you follow us, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next episode.